Okay, I want to welcome everyone to our Wednesday night coaching session. I apologize for the delay here. It is a couple of days late. We've been without electricity, without internet, without phones. We had a bad storm come through and flooded us out. But it's great to be back, and so our Wednesday night session for the 13th is recorded, but I know that you'll enjoy it. We're going to continue on with our normal sales training that we would have had, and that way we'll stay right on track. Let me get her going here. Real quick, if you have not joined our YouTube channel, join our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Instant App Wizard, and like us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Instant App Wizard. Also, if you would like a text reminder, and I highly recommend that you get a text reminder, that way you will always know what's going on with our trainings. Text app call, APPCALL, to 727-478-1343. That's 727-478-1343, app call, APPCALL. And if you have not liked our Facebook group and you are a part of Facebook, join us at our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Instant App Wizard. There is a lot of great suggestions and ideas that flow through the group that I know that will help your business. Last week we talked about dominant buying motives. And the dominant buying motive is the number one emotional impulse that will cause your prospects to buy. This is that deep down inside touchy-feely thing that you will touch, that you will reach into that person, and that will touch them and make them pick up that pen, press hard 3 copies, and purchase your product. The dominant buying motive. This week we're going to talk about translating and understanding what that person is saying. We've seen when people travel and they travel to foreign countries, sometimes they don't speak the language, so they have what's called a translator so that you know exactly what the person is saying. Now, if that translator doesn't understand what's coming out of that person's mouth, then what happens is there's confusion. And when there's confusion, there's problems. And when there's problems in sales, you're usually not going to make the sale. So you have to understand and translate what that person is saying. Real life is never as simple as we make it appear in discussions of sales techniques. Prospects have never studied sales, therefore they don't always respond as we plan. Nothing as is it seems. Nothing is going to go perfect. You know, it would be great if we walked in on every single sale and everything went perfect, but that just does not happen. The art of persuasive communication includes the ability not only to hear what your prospect is saying, but also being able to translate that as well. For instance, you ask the prospect what he wants in life, and he answers that he really wants financial security. We know that security of any kind constitutes an emotion, and that means dominant buying motive. That emotion is his financial security. It has nothing to do with the finances. He wants to feel secure. We all want to feel secure in one way or the other. Financially, our family is taken care of. Financially, we don't have to worry about our kids' college. Financially, we don't have to worry about anything. But it's the security of knowing all those things are taken care of is what's important. And that's the emotional trigger. Security, his family's security, in this instance, financial security, which means that he's comfortable. And he's comfortable doing and having the things that he wants. But don't let it throw you. Simply ask the prospect what would give him financial security. See, we've got to dig just a little bit deeper. The response might be more customers, which equates to more sales. More sales and more customers equates to what? More money. More money gives him what? Financial security. You now have the want and the dominant buying motive. All you now have to do now is ask what the prospect feels he would need to get more customers. And you can summarize and move along to the next step of the sale. You see, without all of these things, without the want and the need, and the dominant buying motive, you're leaving out a piece of the puzzle. And you've got to make sure that that piece of the puzzle is there. Another example of being able to translate what the prospect is telling you to sales terms we use to build our presentation is picking up on clues. I remember growing up, and I know you've all played this game at one time or another. There was a game called Clue. And it was a murder mystery game, and you got clues, and you went around, and you had to translate the clues, and you had to understand what the clues were, and the person that did it the best always won. It's the same way in sales. When you hear the clues and you start putting those in that database you call your mind and in your memory, and you start pulling up these clues, everything kind of starts falling into place, and it kind of helps you along that step and helps you get to where you're going. Let's say your prospect tells you he really would like to increase his customer base, and ask if you have a plan that could help him do that. You ask what he really wants in life, and he says he just doesn't know. He doesn't know what he wants in life. He knows he wants more customers, but that's not what he wants in life. But he knows his business isn't quite where he wants to be, so he's got some confusion in his life because he doesn't really know where he wants to go. He doesn't know what he needs to get there, but he's got a emotional trigger in there somewhere, and now you've got to kind of start taking these clues in. So he says, my business just isn't quite where he wanted it to be. And he says, you know what? I need more customers. It's a pretty safe bet that if you listen to these clues, that he's looking for what? More revenue. He's looking to make more money. He's looking in to bring more cash flow into his business. An even more challenging translation is required by the prospect who do not give you honest answers to your want, your need, and your DBM queries, your dominant buying motive queries. He may just be giving you something just to say it. Or they may not even know. So you're not really sure exactly what those true want, need, and dominant buying motive is. And you meet another prospect, and during the initial conversation, you ask her or him how business is. And their reply is, it's okay, I guess. I just look forward to the day ending. First off, you've got somebody that's very unhappy with what's going on in their business. Second off, they may not want to be in business. They could care less if they're in business. They may not even know what they need to do to get their business going. So that person needs you more than ever. You get to the point of asking what they want from their business, and they tell you simply, more business. My business is so boring. All I need is more business. And you ask what they need to get more business, and they reply, I don't know. I just come to work every day and go home. I'm just hoping it takes care of itself. Here's a person that is totally lost and oblivious to what's going on around them. They went into business for a reason. Now you've got to find out what that emotional trigger was that actually took them and put them into business. Why do they want to really be there in the first place? And you still have the tools. You can give them exactly what they need. You know what they want. They've already told you they want more business. Number one, they're bored. So obviously their business isn't exciting enough, or it's not fast enough, or there's a problem there somewhere. But you have exactly what they need. So you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. They continue to tell you that they just can't decide what they need to do to grow. Some prospects are going to tell you what they feel they are expected to say. And that's a tough prospect, because you're not inside their head yet. You haven't reached out deep enough that they feel comfortable enough. Okay, you've not built enough rapport with that person to where they're comfortable enough giving you the information that you need. You really have to open up and build that rapport where everyone is, you almost feel like you're best friends. I mean, it's kind of like just hanging out and sharing things that you can't share with anybody else. This person that you're dealing with in a business has to be able to open their soul and really dig deep into where their business is at, what they truly want to do in business. And there again, you're going to have to ask the tough questions. John, why did you go into business to begin with? Susie, what made you even open the store? And now you're asking those tough questions because you're going all the way back to the beginning. And you're going to start building this platform of trust and rapport and find out exactly why they're there. And it's hard to do because you're talking to someone that you've never met before. And as sales reps, as salespeople, sometimes we feel like we're going to step on someone's toes. It doesn't matter. We're in the toe-stepping business so that we can get the answers that we need, that we can share with and talk to and care for and help this person do exactly what they want to do, and that's build their business. It's up to the salesperson to pick up on the clues and get the real answers. That's what you're there for. Your job is really as much a sales rep as it is a psychologist. You're there to psychologically pick apart the things that they say and see the truth in everything they say and know exactly what they're saying. What you're doing is truly translating the conversation into a database of terms and words and clues and the whole big bundle so that you can get to the bottom of where you need to start to help them. If this prospect wants more business and they give the standard saying, I have all the business I can handle and the need has already been met, why then have they told you they wanted to grow their business? That there still is something deep inside. A lot of times when you hear, I got more business than I need, people are blowing you off. And you either have to do one of two things. You either have to step out or you have to boldly confront them in a kind and caring and loving and sales professional manner and say, really? That's amazing because everybody I talk to in this area doesn't have the business they want. What is your secret? Because maybe you can teach me something. And see, now you've put the ball in his court. Now he's the expert. Now he's the one that has opened the trap and let the words spew out that he probably wishes he never had said. So put the ball back in their court and ask that question. You know what, John? That's amazing. Because I talk to a lot of business owners around here that doesn't have the business that they need. Maybe you can teach me something that I can help them with to help get them the business that they need. Because you have found the secret to business in this area. And that's going to get him to thinking. And he's either going to tell you or he's going to shut the conversation off. He's going to shut down and the sale is over anyway. But it gives you that last opportunity to go in there and make the sale. Other clues are that they will be glad when the day ends. The procrastination should tell us that they have not been convinced that is what they really want. That, that this person is just happy the day is over. Do they really want more business if they're excited when the day ends? And so you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to really find out, and you've got to dig deep. There's 1 to 2 things to do with a customer like this. You're either going to make him the best customer in the world and they will buy every single thing you have because you're going to convince them and let them know that they started this business for a reason. And you know what that reason is now, and you can sit down and share with them and you can take them to a different level in their life as far as their business goes. And you've got to do that. You've got to do that. So make sure you listen. Listening is the biggest thing we do, by far. There's an old saying, we have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth. And so that means we need to listen and we need to understand what's going on around us. At this point, you can't challenge your prospect. by saying, we don't believe you really want to grow your business. You just can't say that. You know what? I really don't believe you want to grow. Instead, we can let them know that business growth is important to increase revenue. Don't challenge them. Show them and help them and be the consultant, the marketing consultant that you are, the person that they are looking for. We can certainly help them with it, but what else do they really want in life? This person may not want to be in business at all. They may have just been looking for a different job. Okay, the ability to translate what our prospects tells us is in an art form that starts with good listening skills. You've got to learn to listen. You've got to understand what they're saying and what they're telling you. Without that, you really have nothing. Conversation. Let's talk about conversation. And conversation is really the key to life. I teach people and tell people this all the time. If you cannot communicate, then you have nothing at all. There's nothing there for you. And if you can't communicate, you're going to lose anyway. Communication is the key to everything. Everything. And so if you can't sit down and communicate with people, you're probably not going to be very good at sales. I've had people tell me, you know what, Kerry, I can't sell anything, but I'm a great manager. Then you need to go find you several communicators. You need to find people that can communicate. And you need to put them on the streets and start selling your apps. You have the best product in the world. But it doesn't matter how great the product. If you can't communicate and share that product and actually go in and build the rapport and become friends and be their mentor and be that communicator that they're looking for, because they can't communicate either. You're going to find out a lot of times when you sit down with business owners, they're business owners. They're not great communicators. That's why most businesses have so much trouble with employees, because they're unable to communicate exactly what they're looking for. They assume that everybody knows what they're thinking. You cannot go in with an assumption. You have to know, and you have to be able to open up, and you have to be able to communicate like never before. I don't know how many of you have kids, but we all know that we learn to communicate very well when we have children, because children will take advantage of every single misused word there is. They start learning very young. Well, Mom said this, but Dad said this. So let me put 2 and 2 together, and I'm going to come out with my own 4. And then when it all comes down at the end of the day, I'll be the great communicator and tell them what I heard and what I translated they said. So we learn at a very early time in our children's life that we have to say and be very explicit in what we say and in what we do and how we teach them, or the other outcome. I mean, look at the children who have no direction and no guidance and grow up in a world of non-communication. It's the same way in sales. If your communication isn't what it needs to be and you cannot translate what they're saying and take all that and communicate back to them exactly where you feel they're at. And like it said earlier, don't challenge them, but you reach out to them and know right where they're at. Using communication, then you're going to have a wayward child, or you're going to have a wayward customer, and they're never going to get where they need to go. The purpose of the conversation step of the sale is to get the prospect listening to you and liking you. If you go in there too brash, and you go in there arrogant, and you go in there like you know everything about his business, he's probably not going to like you very well. You're in there to learn. When you walk in the door and you start the sales process, you become who? The student. You will become the student, and you will start learning everything there is to know about his business. Let me tell you the great thing about sales, especially when you hit multiple niches and you're out there and you're selling to businesses all over your town. You really become an expert in multiple businesses because you're learning from different people who own different businesses, and you're taking them to the same place to get more customers. You see, your business is one level. Your business is there to do one thing, to help them grow their business and get more customers. And all of that combined together means one thing: more revenue, okay, and expansion. All right, that's all we're there for. We're there to help them with what they need, and that's more business. We know what we have, okay, and we know how to fulfill their want. We've just got to get inside of them through communication with the conversation step, so that we hit the emotional side of the sale, which is the dominant buying motive, so that they will, without question, purchase your product. But they will never, ever do that if they do not like you. I've seen it happen. It happens with me all the time. I'm a pretty upfront guy. And sometimes I hit a raw nerve, and it ends the sale on the spot. I've probably lost more sales by being upfront than I ever made, not telling the truth. But I'm not going to lie to the person. I'm going to be upfront. You don't have any business because you have no marketing plan. And part of my problem is, and learn from what I'm fixing to tell you, part of my problem is I have a hard time with the conversation part of the sale process. That's how important it is. I know where my weakness is. You have to know where your weakness is. And trust me, the conversation part of the sale is extremely important. Because without it, you lose a lot of business. And unfortunately, in my period of time over the years, because I shortened the conversation side of the sale, I did not build the rapport that I needed to get where I needed to go. There are no magic bridges in the conversation step. It should be a natural interaction between the sales rep and the prospect that allows them both to relax and be comfortable with each other. Trust me, when you walk in the door, they know you're selling something. You've never been in there before. They can smell a salesman 5,000 miles away. One of my greatest openings, and write this down, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Many of you know what I'm fixing to say before I ever say it. How is business? Hey, are you the owner? Yeah, how's business? Hey, are you the manager? Yeah, how's business? They're going to tell you very quickly. And they're going to do it based on what you said, and they're usually going to tell you the truth right off the bat, because they don't have time to think about, who is this person? How's business? It could be a lot better. How's business? It hadn't been too good lately. I'm glad you're in. You've got to be able to open up with a statement and make your own statement. Have your own opening question when you walk in. You don't have to use mine. Mine just works for me. But you have to be able to open up that conversation as soon as you walk in the door. And it's funny. When you start to talk, when you start talking to someone, and you kind of look around, and these are some of the things you've got to understand. Excuse me. If they've got pictures of their family behind their counter, they're very family oriented. The majority of time, if they've got their kids and their wife and those pictures behind their counter, they're very family oriented. Watch their cell phones. See what their screensaver is, or see what their opening screen is. If it's a picture of their family, they're family oriented. And so that's a great conversation starter. Hey John, man, I see your boys play softball, or I see your daughter's in the band, or whatever it is. Use those as conversation starters, because you already know that they like their kids. Maybe they've got some deer heads on the wall. Or maybe they've got pictures of a recent trip, or it's those clues that you have to look for outside of the conversation step of the sale. and you see them all around you. Maybe their store is extremely organized. Just little things like that that opens up the conversation. And just say, man, Susie, your store is immaculate. What a great job you do in organizing everything in this store. Let me tell you, you want to just open up your arms and give somebody a big hug without ever touching them? Hit that emotional spot right there of pride. They take a lot of pride in what they do. And it's great opportunities to open the conversation step. You're not talking about mobile apps. You're not talking about marketing. You're talking about exactly what they want to talk about, and that is who? Them. We all like somebody to talk about us. You're getting to know the prospect, and just as importantly, the prospect is getting to know you. Most prospects out there don't think you're human. It's kind of weird. You're a salesperson. You're not a human being. You're out there to take my money. You're out there to give me something I don't want. I don't need that. And they don't understand that even while you're talking to them, that you're getting to know each other. And they need to get to know you, that you're a real human being, that everything about you is real, and you're there for a reason, to truly help them. If they think you're just there to collect a check and you've not gone through the conversation step and you've not built that rapport and they don't like you and you don't like them, they're never going to write you a check. They're writing a check to a friend, somebody that they can contact, have a conversation with, and somebody that they like. First impressions are extremely important. People normally make their first judgment about someone they've met within the first 7 seconds. I'm going to tell you something. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how long you've got to gain their respect. That's how long, right there. I just counted it off. And you've got to do it that quick. The second you open your mouth, they're either going to like you or not. And that's not long to impress a prospect. But a professional appearance, a warm greeting, a genuine smile can make an extreme positive effect. Never go out on a sales day. Totally find something else to do if you're in a bad mood. If you're not in a good mood, don't go. Because they're going to pick up on that in about 2 seconds. You've only got 7. Don't lose them on the first 2 because you've got a bad attitude. And you will. And they will see it. And the chance of getting them back or back in their door to sell them anything is slim and none. Walk in with a professional appearance. Make sure your hair's combed. If the wind's blowing, go get you some hairspray. I use hairspray all the time. It's a manly thing to do. Women taught us that a long time ago, and they're a lot smarter than we are, that when the wind's blowing, put hairspray on your hair and you don't got to worry about it being messed up. And I took that lesson from watching my wife, and sure enough, her hair doesn't get messed up and mine's blown all over my head. So I put hairspray on to keep my hair in place. And if it's a real windy day, I put a lot of it. Why? Because I want to look professional when I walk in. I don't want to look windblown like I just went through the tornado in The Wizard of Oz. Wear nice clothes. I'm not saying some of you wear jeans, and there's days I go out in jeans, depending on who my prospects are. Okay? I want to mirror my prospects. So if they're working in a garage, okay, if I'm hitting tire shops today and automotive places, I'll wear a nice shirt, pressed, and jeans, and shoes, okay? If I'm going out and hitting a professional sector, I wear a jacket and a shirt and slacks. If I'm hitting the ultimate, consummate professional sector, I will even put on a tie. Why? Because you want to mirror those people that you're going out to sell to. Trust me, if you walk into a tire shop and you've got on a suit, you're either a customer or you're a sales rep. You're not there to build rapport. You're there to either get your tire fixed or you're selling something. When you walk into a place, understand your environment, okay? And understand what you got to do. Warm greeting. Some people don't shake hands. Some people bump fists this day and time, and that drives me crazy. It just gets on my nerves so bad, but it happens. You know, you're going to find people that'll bump your fist because they don't want to shake your hand because they don't want to get all the crud that's going around and all that. And I understand that. But there's nothing any better than a good, firm handshake. That immediately builds a bond. Always has, always will. That's what the handshake was created for. It builds that bond. And be happy. I would say 99.9% of the time, I'm happy. When I go out, I'm always happy because I'm going out to make money. But I'm always happy. And I want that to be contagious. I want people to feel that. And I want to be able to make a positive effect on someone's life. Because trust me, you're going to walk into businesses. They're going to be pissed off. They're not going to want to talk to you. They don't like you. They don't like anybody around. They don't even like their customers that are walking in the door. Would it be nice just to walk in with a nice smile, shake a hand, and say, hey, John, looks like you would like a cup of coffee today, man. I'm walking down to Starbucks. Can I bring you one back? You just changed his life forever. Now he's happy. Now you're going to do something and become his friend. You know, you're going to sit down and share a cup of coffee together, and you're going to enjoy each other's company. You're going to get to know him. Then you're going to let him know that you're a marketing consultant, and you're going to change his business forever, and everything's great, and he's going to buy exactly what you got. He wants your mobile app. He wants your website. He wants you to build his Facebook. He wants you to build his Twitter. He wants you to show him how to use the marketing platform. He's going to get texting, and he's going to put the entire package together. And you walked in for a $149 business card, and you walk out with a $1,000 check to give him the whole package. Why? Because you changed his day forever. Because you walked in with a warm greeting, a genuine smile, and you look professional. People look for that in life. People look for that in life. Next week, and we're going to get into the following training: establishing and maintaining rapport. And rapport is extremely, extremely important. Conversation ideas and conversational rules, which will provide a guidance on establishing and maintaining rapport with the prospect. Some conversational ideas and rules and the conversation summary. I cannot stress enough. We talked about dominant buying motive and how important reaching down and finding that dominant buying motive is. The most important way to do that, and the best way to do that, the only way you're going to do that, is if you have built rapport and you're able to get inside there and share conversationally and become this person's friend, their mentor, their help that they've been looking for. That's the only way it will ever happen. The only way it will ever happen. So we're going to get deep into that next week. Once again, I want to thank everybody, man. I've had so many great emails and text messages and things about the situation here. I've never seen as much rain in my life as I have this past, past month. It's rained almost every single day in Texas, and the floods that we've had that came out of the Northeast, thank you, Greg Marshall, that came out of the Northeast, the Northwest, and up out of the Washington State area. I think Greg Marshall and Tom Miles sent that down to us. I hit as far south as Austin, San Antonio, even further south than that, down along the coast. We've had horrendous flooding. A huge tornado that tore a town apart just about 45 miles from where I live. I knew something was going on that night because the winds were so high, and I mean I thought we had one or two tornadoes myself that night, but fortunately we didn't. Lost a few trees, but the rain and the floods washed out the ditches, washed out the cable lines, and the winds tore the power poles down. So, but I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. It's been great, this series that we're in. I'll say it again. I welcome you to use it with your sales reps. You can cut the Instant App Wizard part out. Just go in and edit it all you want to. When we're done, I'm going to give everybody the slides that I'm using, and use these to your advantage and teach those around you how to sell and help you make money. Never forget, if you don't step outside the car, you're never ever going to sell anything. Open the car door, put the smile on your face, the warm greeting, start the conversation, build the rapport, get the steps of the sale, close the deal, and make some money. And if you'll do that, you'll have a customer for life. Thank you, God bless, and I will see you next Wednesday on our Wednesday night trainings.